was from Kentucky, and like a lot of people at that time, Southern Illinois was founded first, mainly by people in Kentucky and Tennessee. But then when the Galena lead mines opened up, then a lot of them would come up here in the summer. And so John Phelps came up here from Kentucky, through Dixon, over to the Mississippi, and then up to the Galena. And then one of the times he was thinking about heading north on Rock River, but instead he went down the Pecatonica River, over to where Rockford is, and then he traveled south, and there was a tent there, and he thought maybe it's an Indian, and he needed some food. So he went there, and there was William Hamilton, the son of, let's see, what was that Hamilton? There's a Hamilton that was shot by William Byrd. And so he talked to him, got some food, and he told him about Oregon, especially between Mount Morris and Oregon. He came down here and settled a claim in 1853.
I think, well, I like being outside, so that's one of the benefits of it, but it's the variety of work. You know, we're not doing the same thing every day. Like sometimes if you're in a factory or something, you're pushing the same button or doing the same job day after day, and this is just a variety of things. So a lot of our work changes with the seasons.
The Oregon Trail Days is an annual festival that's held in the third weekend in July of each year, and the purpose is to bring some awareness and knowledge of Oregon's Native American and pioneer heritage, and also to raise money for the Chief Blackhawk statue at Loudon State Park. Saturday is the event up at Loudon Park, third weekend in July. And so that's where a lot of people come in for the Indian dancing and the pioneer crafts and the kids' crafts and all the things going on. Sunday is going to be in town, mostly for area residents. We're going to have a tug of rope across the Rock River. We'll have teams for that. We have a canoe rally. We have a pancake breakfast. Chain of School will be open. So a lot of things happen at Park East, and we'll have a lot of different events going on for locals on Sunday.
Well, the Castle Rock area here, actually some of the first interest in making it a state park goes back to like the 1920s, and there was a group of people out of Chicago area, and at that time they didn't have a lot of good transportation, but they would take the train out as far as it would go, and there's a guy by the name of Jens Jensen. He was a landscape architect in the Chicago area, but he loved the outdoors, and so they formed a group called Friends of Our Native Landscape, and every weekend when they could, they would take train trips to different parts of the state, and they would come out to the Oregon area here, and they got down in, like, this was not a state park at all back at that time, but the land here was just scenic and pretty, and they thought it should be preserved, so they actually purchased some of the first parcels of ground here just through volunteer fundraising, just to protect some of these high quality natural areas here in the park. They even wrote a paper that gave to the Illinois legislators called Proposed State Parks of Illinois, and I mean there was a number of places throughout the state that they proposed to be state parks. But it wasn't until the mid-60s that the state itself, and we used to be called the Department of Conservation, became interested in actually starting a state park here. And then the state started buying parcels of ground here, which eventually now are part of Castle Rock State Park. So.
And so when we go to the parks, if we as users, if we learn to use them correctly, if we learn about the trees and the plants and the animals that are there, our area, just last weekend when I was out hiking myself, I saw bald eagles, I saw pileated woodpeckers, I know where there's a place where there's river otters, and I just learned a few moments ago where there are some Indians buried at Loudon-Miller State Forest. That is neat. You know, think about that. You're hiking in an area where Blackhawk once roamed, you know, And so people to appreciate the parks, to learn about what's there, and to want to protect it. Along with that goes that we can be involved in the political arena in communicating to our legislatures and our city fathers that these places are important to us and they do need to be protected, and we do need to properly fund them and make certain that they're staffed correctly, and not to give jobs to people, and which that happens, but to just correctly staff them so that we can provide the services to the public that they need. And